Now, when we think about this particular hero we're going to discuss, which is Fred Shuttlesworth, can you give just an overview of what Birmingham was like in the 50s and 60s?
Oh man, so I love talking about Fred first. So let me say that. Excuse me, little under the weather today, but Birmingham was considered the most oppressive, segregated city of its size during the segregation era. You can consider the segregation era to ultimately be from 1896 when Plessy versus Ferguson was passed and said that segregation is okay as long as you have separate accommodations for each race or whatever. All the way up until it's still segregated. To be honest, but right.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm sorry. But you're right. It's still segregated, but people consider the 1964 Civil Rights Act to be the ending of that era, that period, and the 40s, 50s, and 60s were probably the most turbulent time here in the city of Birmingham. Mm-hmm. Birmingham has a nickname called Bombingham, and that's not for any slight reason. This is a steel town. And the Ku Klux Klan used dynamite as one of their favorite weapons. You had over 50 unsolved bombings from the 40s to the 60s in this city. You have areas of town around here called Dynamite Hill.
And even on the fact of bombings, right? When you think about bomb, you think about war.
Yeah.
You don't even, when's the last time someone is, like literally, when's the last time you've witnessed something being bombed in person? In your city. Okay, when's the last time you've heard of something being bombed where you grew up, where you currently are in the last 10 years?
When was that bombing of the abortion clinic out here? That was still out here. That was in Birmingham.
Yeah,
so
look at that. Look, right.
So that just kind of goes to show the history, and how those things can kind of play out later on.
Right.
In our society, but you don't hear that.
And isn't it the three natural ingredients you need to create a bomb? We have them here in Birmingham.
Well, for steel.
For steel, okay.
Okay. That's why Birmingham is a town that is a steel town, but it was very prosperous steel town because all three ingredients to make steel are locally available.
Yep, that's
and
right.
You don't usually see that in most other steel towns. They have to import something in.
Right.
And so because of that, though, Birmingham had a lot of money.
Yeah.
You had people who, certain people who controlled this town.
Right.
And then come to find out, those people who had that money and controlled this town, they're the ones who pushed Bull Connor to be who he was.
Ooh, so let's get into it.
So we can get into who Bull Connor was.
Let's get into it.
But, Bull Connor was that, he took over in the 30s and he refused to leave office in 1963 when he was outed as he tried to run for mayor.
This is what's interesting about this perspective, but also the reality and this factual information that we're hearing about Birmingham. Because when you hear the name Bull Connor and you learn more about what he was responsible for, it is going to be surprising to hear that. Hold on. Who did he work for?
So, what was also little history about Bull?
Tell about Bull.
So his name is Theophilus Bull Connor. But he originally was a game caller at Rickwood Field.
Okay.
So he would call games for the Birmingham Barons. He would call games for the Birmingham Black Barons. But when he called these games for the Birmingham Black Barons, he would use racial, epithets and things. He would say, like, if somebody hit it a home run out into one of the black sections, out in the outfit, he would say stuff like, he hit that into the coal mines and things like that. And so that's how he started to generate a name for himself. Okay. And then so with that, he ran for a city commissioner and became the commissioner of public safety. Now, we always say, commissioner of public safety was over the fire department, the police department. That's true, but he was also over transportation and schools. Wow. Okay. And so one of the other things that Bull is should be famous for, but really a lot of people don't know about, is in the I'm not sure exactly what year it is. I want to say it was in the 40s. But when it was the Democratic National Convention, and the Democratic National Convention wanted to adopt civil rights issues as part of their platform. And Bull Connor led a walkout of that convention that led to the creating of the Dixiecrats, okay, which is the real Southern,
Right.
deep Southern Democrat,
Right.
racist
Right.
folks,
Right.
and they even ran somebody for president. They ran Thurman for president, and so those are things that
That's big.
he was a stunt segregationist.
Yeah.
He even had a black man lynched in his uniform in the 40s that came back from World War II trying to register people to vote.